Hi, I'm Brian Diltz, and for more than 25 years I've been helping people get a really great job and helping employers to hire really great people. Today I'm working with a resume that I want to show you the techniques necessary to make a resume reasonable. First of all, the most important thing to remember about a resume is if it's getting you phone calls, it's a great resume. If it's not getting you phone calls, it stinks. And that's all there is to it. So if your resume is getting a lot of phone calls, ignore what I'm going to do here. And if not, then we need to talk. First thing I want you to notice is that this resume is difficult to read. Most resumes last less than 12 seconds in the receptionist's inbox because she is usually charged with separating the wheat from the chaff. And she will look at a resume and try to decide literally in under 12 seconds, the average now is something like 8.9 seconds, whether or not she should do anything with your resume other than trash it. So the first thing I would do is get out of this monotype that she has and change it to a very boring type. So I'm going to do Control A, and I'm going to change this to Calibri. There's some maybe some others that are better, but I just want something that is extremely reasonable. The old typewriter faces are good also. So right now it has a modern look and it's very readable. Next thing is you don't need your full address on your resume. Might as well save that line and get rid of that. The only reason you want to put your address and your phone number is so that someone can get to you, but there's a problem. The most common way for someone to get hold of you nowadays is through email. The address is not on this resume. So let's take that space and give Lynn McIntyre an email address where everybody can see it and everybody can get hold of her. As a matter of fact, if I was going to have just one piece of contact information on a resume, it'd be the email address. Quick warning, some people like to have obnoxious email addresses. Luckily, that has disappeared over the years, but please, it is better to have a vanilla email address than an obnoxious one. You see I made real simple changes here. The reason I left Elizabethtown, PA is because people want to know where you live. If you're trying to hide where you live, take that out, and you might want to consider using Google to get a phone number that's in the area code that you're looking for a job in. Okay, next is education. In this case, the education ended in 2008 for what was done getting the master's degree. That's only 7 years ago, so it's reasonable to leave that if it's important to the job you're looking for. Lynn, in this case, is looking for an accounting job, and her master's degree is in curriculum and technology, not in accounting. She does have a degree in accounting, but that's from 1987. Now, one thing that you need to watch out for always is looking like you're old. And I hate to say it, but 1987 is old. So the first thing I would do with the education is to take the dates that these degrees were received out. And because they don't do any good, the dates don't do any good, and what they do is they make you old. Now, the next thing is let's save a little space here, and let's move the location of these up a little higher, like that. Now, the next thing is I'm going to make this a capital PA, which is actually the, as far as I understand, that's the accepted way of doing it. And one thing which you might want to consider is, does she want to have all of this information on here? I don't know. Does her being a New Jersey civil service clerk typist have anything to do with her desires to be an accountant? Probably not. So I'm going to take that out, and once again, this is just a call. It's a judgment call, but I'm trying to make the resume as simple as possible. And I'm going to do something here because she does have a degree, but it's not a master's degree in her accounting. I'm going to take all of this, I'm going to move it to the very bottom of the resume. Boom. going to move it right here. One thing I strongly suggest you do is to not have references for the sake of privacy. I already removed the reference people. She had 5 references here, but I would take references completely out of my resume. Make people ask you for them. Unless your references are really great, like it's President Barack Obama or the governor of the state, and you're applying for a state job, don't bother putting in the references. If you're applying for a computer programming job and the head of Oracle or the head of Microsoft is your reference, then you can leave them on. But if it's just people, don't put your references on. Make them have to call you for those references. So right here, I've changed things very significantly. One thing that's important is I have left the computer software in. One of the reasons is because it has some very specific computer packages that accountants use, like ACPAC, BNA, Safeguard, Great Plains, which actually should have a capital P there, I believe. And so I've left those in there. I might consider taking out some of the others, depending on what level of job she's looking for. Now let's go back and look at this accountant's work experience. You notice she's been an instructor in accounting, which is very good, from 2006 to 2008. But she's also worked at Walmart. Now the trouble with having Walmart up there is the second people see Walmart, they think, oh, the person had to take a part-time job working as a clerk. I don't have anything against Walmart, but there's got to be a better way to show that you're working at Walmart rather than have that be the main thing in such large type. We'll work on that in a minute. Let's go down and look at what she actually needs to have in there. She's been doing a lot of teaching, substitute teaching, regular teaching, and you'll notice that she has a lot of experience, but her actual accounting experience is down here in 1994 to 1996. Well, and then she worked doing some temp accounting from 91 to 94, worked with Pete Marwick in Maine, which is a public accounting firm, Morgan Stern and Associates Public Accounting. And so how do you get the chance to have people notice what you've done with accounting, what you've actually done, and how do you get them to notice it? In her case, I would want to rearrange the resume some. Now, first of all, I'm going to take off the JCPenney catalog thrift drugs. Not necessary. I actually did a check once, and I've had over 30 jobs, and I don't put more than 2 or 3 of them on my resume. So it is okay, it is standard to put your most recent experience first. So she's in the standard order. But how do we get people to pay attention to the most important thing she's done? Okay, well, just for the fun of it, let's move all of this stuff off the page. Okay, I'm going to have it start with Colva Farms, and I'm going to move all this teaching stuff down near the bottom. Oops, get rid of this various other stuff. Move that down near the bottom. Okay, and we can clean this up in a minute. But what I want to do, the most critical part of any resume is the first job that shows. And here, working for Colva Farms, it shows that she was controller. She handled the daily operations of a beef and crop farm. Reconciled the receipts, did the disbursements, handled sales and government funding, tax and licensing, sales and acquisitions. To get a job as an accountant, that's a pretty good start. Now, is having taught something good? Yes. But having actually done it. Now, there's more to this story that I can't tell you for privacy's sake. But you know what I really want to have up there is I want to have Binner Industries. I want to have Farmer Boy Ag Systems. I want to have Lebanon Valley Enterprises. But what I really want is I want to start with Binner Industries. And you're going, Brian, you're getting all this stuff out of order. I'm going, yes, I am. I'm proud of you figuring that out. Okay? And the reason is because I want people who are thinking of hiring her to say, this woman has exactly the kind of experience I'm looking for. Now remember, a resume is working if people are calling you. A resume is not working if people are not calling you. So a resume is not a place to confess all of your sins. It's not a place to give all the information that will disqualify you. It's the place to give the information that makes it impossible for people not to call you. Okay? So right now, for her experience, she's got a lot more experience than this. But you know, those 4 jobs, those are darn good jobs. And that might be enough. So let me cut out her most recent experience and her older experience and just delete stuff. Did I get Farm Boy in there? Just a second, excuse me. Didn't get Farm Boy Ag Systems. So let me get that in there too. So we'll just take everything out except for Farmer Boy. And we'll get rid of all the rest of the school and the temp agency. Let's leave McCann Business School, just for the fun of it. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do is to get rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter. Okay? And, forgot to get rid of Walmart. Like I said, that always people just assume immediately that you were working there as doing other stuff. So here we've got a chance to start bragging about about all the different places that Lynn worked. Now what I would do here is look at these dates. Everything's out of order. And but here's what does happen. When people look at this, they're going to look at it and say Binner Industries, Colville Farms, Morgenstern, Pete Marwick. And they're going to say, this person does have some good experience. Plus she's done some training, she's done some other stuff. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do something very dangerous. I'm going to take the dates out. The reason I'm taking the dates out is because I want to force the people who are looking at this resume to call her. And if they call up and they say, well, how long have you been, you forgot to put the dates on your resume. And you say, oh, that's true. I mean, my most recent job, which is, at the school, she's been working for 8 years. She can say, I've been working at that job for 8 years. Binner Industries, I was there for 1.5 years. Colville Farms, I was there for 6 years or whatever it was. And then after that, she's not giving anything away. Now, I can tell you that that whoever is looking for her, now I apparently have taken off the Morgenstern and Associates stuff, so I'm gonna add something which may or may not go there, and Lynn can fix this when she finally gets there. People do like to see something underneath the some kind of experience, so we're just going to put that back in there, pretend it's exactly the same. Now, if I were looking at this resume, I would immediately go, oh my goodness, look at how good this person is. I don't need to know where she was working, so let's take that out. But I do need to know she was a controller. I do need to know that she worked in audit, and I don't need to know she was in Myerstown. And I don't need to know that McCann Business School is in Pottsville. She can answer all these questions for me later. Now, the only thing I've got here which I don't like is I don't have these this paragraph set up the way I want. But look at this resume. If you are looking for somebody who's an accountant, this is